Good morning, OCPS people. As most of you probably know at this point, we currently, in time of January 2020, do not have the ability at a middle school to run a student GPA out of Skyward. And I was pushed to come up with a way to do that, and in doing, realized it was something that we could push out and share with other schools in order to let them create a sort of informal GPA right now. So this video is a walkthrough to give you an idea of how to go about doing that. So the first step will be to get the calculator that I made. So it is going to be by going to the website bit.ly/Skyward GPA. That's also going to be linked below this video on the YouTube channel. So if you look down, you'll be able to scroll and find that video right there. This is the page you'll get to. It'll have you make a copy right away so that you have your own personal copy in order to do the next steps of this process. While we let that load, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go into Skyward. There are three different reports, well, three versions of a report more accurately, that you're going to need to run in order to make sure you can create this document. So we're going to let Skyward load up and get logged into that as well. In order to complete this, you do need office access and you need to be able to get to the grading reports. If you don't have that, you'll need to see someone on campus who does. So to get started, we're going to get the first report going. So we'll go to Office, and we're going to go to Grading category, and we're going to go to Reports. And the report we're going to use, we're going to make three different versions of, is going to be the Selected Grades report. This will let us see the specific grades for different time periods. For you guys, you're going to want to go ahead and do Add, and you're going to add a new report in order to be able to create it. You can call it whatever you want. I called it GPA calculator, something to that effect. I probably have one like that already, so we'll call it GPA calculator 2. A lot of these settings, so the main thing, first of all, is that our report type is by student. We're going to start with our oldest report, so we'll go 17-18. We'll need any 8th grader. We want to get their 6th grade information, so we're going to go to the 17-18 report. We're going to go ahead and add other ID, because we need to make sure we have the student ID as we know it available. We're going to select all grades because we need all grade types. And since we're doing historical on this one, all we need is final grades. So we're going to check that, then hit save and print and let that run. Once the report finished processing, don't hit view report, hit done, and then we're going to go to print queue. The PDF is useless to us. We don't need the PDF, so we're going to do convert to Excel. In this case, for this report, a CSV and a simple dump will work out great. So we'll let that process, and that will generate my first of the 3 reports I need. So now we'll hit display report once we have it as an Excel file, and we'll hit display report for that one. Because of Skyward's screwy naming conventions, what I would recommend, do these one at a time, open it, and then I would go ahead and save it. Before we get to the next step, I would save as, and I would make sure I know where this is going, so I just put it in my downloads for now. 2017, 2018, because that's the report I just ran. I want to make sure I know which one's which as I'm going. So let's save, yes, keep using that format. And then I can leave that open, go back to Skyward, and start again. So close out my print queue. Since I just made this, it's easier to just edit this instead of creating a new one. So all I'm going to do is edit this report and go ahead and create the next one, which is the 2018-2019 report. All my other options can stay the same. So all I have to do, change that 2018-2019, save and print, and let that part process like I did before. If you're paying attention, you can also just hit my print queue from this page here and let that run. So again, once it's finished processing, I'm going to go ahead and hit back, convert to Excel, CSV, simple dump. The converting to Excel is very quick, thankfully, so that's nice and easy. So now I'll display report. Again, I want to go ahead and open it and save it just so I can keep track of what I'm doing. So we'll do File, Save As. I would recommend saving it at the same place you saved this one. So this is now my 2018-2019 report. So I'll save that. And then now we're going to run the last version of this report. So we'll go back, we'll close down the print Q, go back to the GPA calculator, hit edit one more time. This one has some different options. So first of all, we're going to change the year to 1920. Unfortunately, this does not change from historical to current year, so you need to make sure you change it to current year. So 1920, other ID is already selected, current year. We're going to make sure all grades are selected. Here, we got to do something a little bit different because we need the semester 1 grades. So we'll take semester 1 grades, but we also need the final grades for any semester courses. So we'll take semester 1 and final grades. With all of these reports, don't add extra options. It will mess up the calculations on the last steps of my calculator because it assumes that certain things are in certain columns. So make sure that you check only the boxes that I've selected here. So once we've done that, save and print. And then as before, my print queue, and we will wait for that to calculate. So this would be a good place to pause the video. Might even be a good place to go down and hit that subscribe button, hit that like and subscribe, and you get all the updates from me here at Bridgewater Middle School. And then one last time, we're going to go ahead and hit back, convert to Excel, CSV, simple dump, and we'll let that process. And this will open our third and final report that we need in order to run the calculator. Second part of how to do this GPA calculator that is available. So in the previous steps, you created the 3 reports and you made a copy of the spreadsheet that you find at bit.ly/Skyward GPA. So you should have all those available to you. So for now, we're going to go ahead and open up 1718. We're going to start from the back. The first thing you have to do is drag column A over. I need to be able to see this ID number without the scientific notation. So when you drag it like this, before you have the 4.8E plus 09 or whatever, that doesn't work. When you copy it over, that's all it copies. We need to see the full ID number, 480, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once I have that, that's the only thing I have to do to edit this document. So all I'm going to do is copy from A to C. So I select columns A to C, right-click, and copy. Now I'm going to go to that Google Sheet that you made a copy of before. So that should have loaded by now while we were running all those reports, and you should see it here. As you might guess, the 1718 report is going to go right here. Right-click on A1, and then go ahead and hit Paste. Now, I just pasted a lot of data into this browser. For Bridgewater, we're a massive school, obviously, so we have lots and lots of students, and every student generates up to 7 lines of data, possibly even more if they took semester courses, actually. So there's a lot of information that's being pasted here. So even though I clicked it, it doesn't look like I did. It's stuck. We are not going to undo that. We're going to leave that and let it wait. In fact, at some point, it may even pop up and say, Chrome is unresponsive. In fact, there it is right there. Do you want to wait or exit pages? Click wait. It'll take a couple more minutes after that usually, and then you'll be set. But just be patient. You just pasted a lot of data into this, so be patient with it. Now that we've got the first set of data on this page, we're going to repeat that process with our 1819. Again, drag it over, make sure I can see it. Copy all of this. And now paste it onto my raw 1819 page in A1. And again, pause and wait for it because it's going to take a little bit of time. And once that's done, we'll do the same thing for the 1920 data. So we'll go to that page, we'll copy, make sure we stretch out my A line, copy all of this, copy, and 1920. Once you get to this point, you might notice that it is not going to let me paste yet. Part of the reason is because this is still trying to calculate all the changes I just did. Once you start inputting data onto the other 2 forms, it starts calculating all the other pages and getting your data ready. So if it says doesn't give you the paste option, if we still have things running, just let it run. Be patient. I would also highly recommend that you have all other Chrome windows closed out. If you have any other documents open, anything you can close to clean up memory will help this process speed up. Just as a note to give you an idea, it took about 6 to 7 minutes for mine to fully paste in that last bit of data, get all of the calculation done, and now it's cleared. Now at this point, all you have to do is go to collected data, and that will show you all of your students. It will show you all of their current information and their GPA, and you are set to go. Now, you might notice some weird cases where things don't line up correctly. For example, I saw one at the top here where this one just doesn't line up correctly. That has to do with the way Skyward reports export sometimes. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. It does occasionally happen. We can just kind of ignore this student's result. This isn't anything. But if you look through the rest of them, we don't have any other places where things don't line up. And I have a calculated GPA for every one of my students as it is set up. If I have grades. So in some cases, I might have a student who doesn't have any grades. I don't have theirs. But otherwise, I have this. What I would highly recommend doing, because of the way this is calculated, you can't really sort this data as it is. It has to do with the way this column works. So instead, what I would recommend is I would take all of this information. I would probably filter out. So you can filter but not sort. So I would filter out the blanks, hit OK. I would take all of this information here. I would copy it. So I'd right click and hit copy. And then I might paste it into either another sheet or into Excel, just so I can play with the data a little bit more. Like I said, as it is, it will have some issues because of that unique function. So instead, what you can do is go ahead and do paste the information right here. And now you have it as actual data instead of the shortened information you just had before. So those formulas disappear. Now they're all calculated. And now I can go ahead and do a sort and filter on all of this information and play with it however I'd like to. So that is it. Now you have all that data you need. You're able to sort, filter, organize, go through it as much as you want, and work through it. So I hope that helps some of you guys out. If you do have any more questions, of course, I'm always available to help out with those. I am Brad Schreffler. You can find me at bradley.schreffler@ocps.net, as the link is on the video, and I'll be glad to help you guys out. Have a great day.